Looking good, looking good. Hello. The movie for yesterday, October 2nd, was The Nun. That's the second movie in the list of October movies. The Nun 2 specifically, I should say, 2023. Um, I guess starting off, I'll just say straight up, never been too interested in movies like this. I guess, what would you say, like demon possession type movies never really caught me. Uh, just into different things whenever it comes to horror specifically. And just from what I know it's tied into the Conjuring universe and all that. Um, Never been into those movies either. I've seen the first two, I believe, definitely the first one, but again, just nothing going into it, no expectations, which is why I was actually really surprised. Uh, Nothing like great and stand out. And I mean, you can say it's like inconsistent what I'm gonna say here, especially since I was, bitching and moaning about Smile yesterday about being a little, I guess, predictable and stuff. And this movie is, don't get me wrong, but um, it's definitely a lot more fun. Way more fun than I imagined, quite honestly. You know, uh, but I guess starting off, just like super simple setup. You got a demon nun running around causing chaos, and that's all right. That's fine. Characters, sort of whatever. Um, but with this being a second movie and with a movie before it, it does a really good job of just kind of throwing you in there. There's returning characters, from what I'm assuming, just because of what they tell us in the movie, and again, they really do just get you into it, which is nice. So you don't even really need to see the first one. And I mean, for somebody like me, that works out completely fine. Um, but overall, honestly, just like watched it and was genuinely surprised for the most part. Um, there's some parts in it that are really goofy, but sort of in a fun way. I don't know if it's like intentional comedy, or not intentional comedy, but intentional sort of just like fucking craziness, or if it's just a just a side effect maybe of something else. I guess two bits specifically that kind of stand out to me were these, I guess, light action like segments. There's a bit sort of like middle way, towards the end where the head woman of the school is going into the chapel where her son dies. Spoilers, by the way. And she sees her son ghosting around because like the nun is up to whatever she's doing. Um, and you're like, all right, like she's gonna get killed by the sun. Most likely, it'd be a sort of like poetic tie-in or whatever. Uh, but yeah, so the son shows up, and he has one of those little. It's like a glaive, I guess. But for something more of like a ritual, like it'd be like a chain and like a lantern. But he has that, and he's using that as like a fucking weapon. He's like swinging it around and shit. I'm like, okay, first of all, what is this, like Kill Bill sort of thing? Remember the first movie Kill Bill? The girl, she has the ball and chain. She's like throwing it around and stuff. But it was shot like just weirdly like an action movie or like action set piece, and the head woman is just getting the shit that beat by her own son. So little goofy, a little crazy, but it almost like turns into a whole different movie for like 10 seconds. It's weird. And there's another shot later on too where what's her name? The main sister, Irene, if I remember from memory. Uh, but she's chasing down Frenchie because they figured out he's possessed by the nun. Uh, but yeah, she's chasing him down the hallway, and like she gets a little too close, and he just kind of like 180s and like punches her into a window. And again, it's just shot like it's an action movie. It's weird. If you watched it, you would know. Honestly, I think it'd be good to just put in clips and stuff, but the explanation I think is fine. It gives you an idea. Especially considering how like straightforward a lot of the shots and stuff in the movie are. Just like planted, following camera stuff like that. um, following character with the camera, sort of thing. Very basic. So whenever these few shots popped up here and there, it really was like I was watching a different movie. I guess the main thing I can relate it to, I guess, is James Wan and the way he directs stuff, specifically with like *Malignant* from a few years back now. But that movie again like played straightforward for the most part. But there's that one scene or like two scenes towards the end, in the jail cell and in the police officers building. Yeah, where it's just shot like it's an action movie. It's like it becomes The Matrix all of a sudden. And again, I mean, with James Wan, I know he got his start in horror, so and it makes sense. And he's gone on to direct stuff like what was it, Aquaman. So like having like that superhero action type vibe, transfer over into his horror stuff, sort of it translates, is what I'm trying to say. But I know he started off horror. I don't know what he did specifically. I mean, thinking of it now, it might have been The Conjuring, but maybe Insidious or another sort of paranormal series like that. But I'm vaguely familiar with James Wan. So these two pieces that I'm referring to in The Nun 2 is kind of what I was thinking about, or like where my mind went to, which is a bit funny. Uh, but then I guess with the rest of the movie, it's just all right. It obviously gets like way wackier as it goes on. Uh, Way fucking wacky, if I'm being honest. But sort of just like in a fun way. Definitely in a fun way. Because then obviously you have the nun finally show up at the at like the main school building where the eyes are being held, the little MacGuffin of the movie, um, which which again is just like played so weird. It's almost like a superhero fucking bit, like just like I don't know why my mind traveled there, but I was like, okay, like she's like the. It makes me sound super fucking lame too, making the comparison, but it's weird, especially whenever she finally gets the MacGuffin, the eyes. It like she literally grabs it like it's a fucking Infinity Stone, like she's Thanos, grabbing an Infinity Stone or like powering up. Um, and I mean, with how like bombastic it gets too, like it is very like Marvelish. One more. um, but at that point, I was just so invested with what was going on. I'm like, all right, whatever. Who gives a shit? Uh, it's funny, if anything. Um, so it was rather enjoyable in that aspect. And the other thing too, I guess, with me thinking about other movies while watching this, um, any single time I see a goat character in a movie, instantly think of The Witch, with Black Phillip in The Witch. Just because that's a cool representation, having your like devil figure be portrayed as a goat, and in The Witch, the goat is just like a pure black goat, representing like evil, and it's just a cool visual to come across. And I mean, they have the same thing in this movie, like in the glass pane that reveals the eyes. The kids, or like the kids have the story about the goat being the devil, and then it's also a cool shot as well whenever I guess the devil spawns in the school, and the goat is gone from the mirror pane, and then you just like see this creeping creature go around, and it looks all right for what it is. That's another thing too about like visual stuff. I'm surprised they'll show the nun as much as they do, or like they'll show this devil creature as much as they do. They aren't like scared to do the horror thing where they'll like kind of cut away very quickly from the monster. Uh, I know there's a few movies that sort of do that thing, you know, or just like the quick cut from whatever's supposed to like be scaring you, because it'd just be like the generic, oh yeah, quick pan, jump scare, loud sound, pan away, to like character running or something. But this movie just like lingers a lot of the time, which is nice. Gives you time to kind of soak in like what you're seeing, like the horror of what you're seeing. So I appreciate that for the most part. I think there's only once where they do the quick pan away, and it's the shot where the nun is in a picture frame, and the music is sort of building up until she pops out, and like the shot of her popping out, it's like super quick. But that's like the only time they do it. Every other time they show the nun, she's like there, you know, full frame, like very clear. So I kind of respect that. But uh, I mean, if I wanted to complain about acting and stuff, all the acting is okay. The only person who kind of stands out to me is the one girl, the other sister that accompanies Irene throughout the movie. I've seen her in a few things. I was trying to remember where I'd seen her from, but the main thing I can pick her out from is in the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's Suicide Squad. Um, she was what's his name? Idris Elba's character's daughter. Uh, Deadshot, not Deadshot. Fucking hell, not Deadshot. Yeah, so Idris Elba's character in Suicide Squad, the James Gunn one. That's the daughter, so she's sort of like a newer actress, I would assume. But she's the only one who kind of feels a bit out of place. I feel like everybody's sort of playing it like it's like a small period piece almost. But her in the way she acts is very like contemporary, I guess. Maybe it's kind of just a commentary on her character, or like a better way to represent her character. She has more like modern ideals. You know, she sort of like acts against the church, like doesn't go to confession, stuff like that. A bit of a rebel in a space where you're supposed to be sort of you know, controlled. So she's like an outlier. So I mean, I guess, you know, that makes sense. But yeah, her acting just felt, you know, like she'd be more suited in like a more modern kind of horror movie. You know, and it's just like the differences, I guess, because, you know, with the way everybody talks or acts, like there's a certain like properness to it. Um, what? Because if I'm not mistaken, this is like 1960s or something like that. Not even. I feel like I'm like completely off base with that, but it's just like how it feels. But it also just might be the environment, I guess. Uh, Again, like not a jab, just something interesting. I felt that needed to be pointed out. But yeah, I'm gonna say overall just like solid, and would definitely recommend. Again, like weird if you, you know, like considering the first video where I'm complaining about Smile, or you know, if you just, you know, knew some of the other stuff I like, it's kind of weird recommending this because it sort of seems like the thing I dislike. But I enjoyed it quite thoroughly, you know, for the most part. Very easy to get into, very easy to watch. Probably wouldn't rewatch it, honestly. Probably wouldn't rewatch it, but you know, just for like a one-time thing, especially during the October month. Why not toss it on? Fairly quick too, like hour 40, but goes by a lot faster, or feels like it goes by pretty fast. A few bits that sort of linger, but again, it's not that big a deal. Uh, but yeah, I guess that's about it for this one. Take care.